everyone, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to do some summertime rec, but it's going to be a little bit different. These aren't books that are just set during the summertime or that have good summertime vibes or whatever like normal. These are actually all the books that I own that have the word summer in the title. So I do have my ceiling fan on because it's really hot in here, so I hope it's not too loud and you can hear me okay. We're going to go ahead and start with the one ebook I have on this list, otherwise I'll forget about it. And this is a horror novel called Malignant Summer by Tim Meyer. And this is a coming of age epic tale, so think of It or December Park vibes. And I bought this last summer, but I didn't read it because it's almost 700 pages, so I'm pretty intimidated by the length, I'll be honest. And this is about a little town who is kind of going through an epidemic of illnesses, and people are having nightmares and different things, and so some people think it's the chemical plant nearby that's making everyone sick, and everybody else thinks it's maybe something a little more malignant that's happening. And so you have these group of junior high kids, and they don't really care about that. They're just kids out for the summer, and they want to have a fun time. And so they have this scavenger hunt, but something goes wrong during the scavenger hunt, and their innocence is lost. So it does sound good, and this cover is absolutely amazing, but again, the length has kind of deterred me from reading it yet. So hopefully I'll get to it sometime. I don't think it will be this summer, but maybe next summer. And then I have a couple of mangas if you're into that sort of thing. And the first one is The Summer That Hikuro Died. I hope I'm saying that name correctly, I don't know. But this is about a couple of guys who are best friends, and Hikuro dies, but then he comes back, and his friend is overjoyed at first, like, hey, my friend wasn't really dead. But then he starts to wonder, I don't think this is really my friend. I think he's something else, and he's trying to figure out what he is. So it sounds like a good fun time. So then we have Summertime Rendering, which actually sounds very similar to The Summer Hikuro Died, because you have this guy and his best friend, this girl, has passed away, and it leads to like time travel horror, I think. But I hear great things about it. I hear it's really good, so I don't know. It'd be good to maybe compare them and see which one I like more, since it has a similar premise. And then we have a classic novel, which I have not read since junior high when I was forced to read it in school, and that is Summer of the Monkeys. And I don't know if it holds up as an adult, but when I was a kid and had to read it for school, I loved it. I thought it was really fun. This is about a boy and his sister and his grandpa, mainly. And there's some kind of traveling circus that rolls through town, but the monkeys that's on this train end up escaping into the woods. And so I believe there's a reward for anybody that can trap these monkeys and get them back to the zoo. And so he spends his summer trying to create these monkey traps to earn some money. So I just remember really enjoying it. I would like to reread it at some point, but I do remember liking it, and we saw the movie while in class, and I thought it was pretty good. But again, that was like 20 years ago, so I don't know if I would still like it, but probably. I mean, it's probably a classic for a reason, right? And then I have some YA novels. I don't know if Summer of the Monkeys is also YA or if that's middle grade, but I don't know. I don't know when the cutoff is, because junior high is kind of not middle grade, but not young adult yet. It's kind of that in between, so who knows. But anyways, we're going to start with some vintage books, and this one is a Sweet Valley High book called Deadly Summer. And it's a super thriller. Usually Sweet Valley High is just very like chick lit high school drama stuff, but there was a few thrillers written, and I'm excited to read them. I haven't read them. As a kid, I would just read all of the regular ones. I think I read the one where Elizabeth was a werewolf, but outside of that, I haven't read any of the thrillers. But I went to a used bookstore and found a whole bunch of them and snatched them up, so I'm excited to read them. So if you don't know, Sweet Valley High is about these two twins, Jessica and Elizabeth Wakefield. And so in this one, they're part of the high school newspaper, and so they're doing this story on an escaped patient from a mental institution. So it's probably to be kind of campy and maybe won't have the best mental health rep because it is old, but we'll see. But anyway, so this guy escapes from the psychiatric ward and is on the loose, and apparently something happened when he was a student at Sweet Valley High, and he wants revenge on the other students that humiliated him. So it's kind of sounds like I Know What You Did Last Summer type vibes, but probably not as creepy as that because it is Sweet Valley High. They don't tend to get that scary, so we shall see. Then we have a Fear Street novel. Absolutely love Fear Street, and this is One Evil Summer. And this cover is hilarious. She's just like holding up this cat and like laughing evilly. You know, I could just see an evil chuckle coming from her throat as she looks at this cat. I thought that cover was hilarious. I haven't read this one yet, but I really want to get to it sometime this summer because I love Fear Street and it's always a good time. So I don't actually know what this is about. I should have read the premise before I started this video. It says, summer at the beach and Amanda Conklin stuck in summer school. Well, at least she doesn't have to take care of her little brother and sister. That's Chrissy's job. Chrissy seems like the perfect babysitter, so kind and trustworthy. But Amanda soon discovers Chrissy's terrible secret. Babysitting is Chrissy's job, but killing is what she does best. Dun dun dun! So yeah, this sounds fun and campy, and who doesn't love a good killer babysitter? Then we have Party Summer, and this one's a super chiller, and I read this one last summer or maybe the summer before. So this is about a group of kids who get a summer job working at this inn on this deserted, abandoned island. But when they get there, they're shocked to know that it's closed for the season. There's nobody actually there. And so they're like, well, what's our job then if the inn is closed? But then they realize that they're supposed to be helping to renovate it and get it cleaned up and ready for guests to come in the next few months. But it turns out that the place might just be haunted. So this was a lot of fun. It has a Simon Fear in it. If you're familiar with the Fear Street saga, you'll know the importance of Simon Fear. But anyways, I thought this was fun. It kind of had Norman Bates vibes a little bit with Simon. He's a little bit not all right in the head. So yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. And then we have a Terror Academy book called Summer School by Nicholas Pine. And this one I didn't actually read the back of either. It says, it's like any other high school on the outside, but inside, fear stalks the halls and terror is in a class by itself. She dumped her clean-cut boyfriend for a sleazy biker. Now Kara Richards must live to regret it. Eddie Jacobs plays too rough for her, and she drops him. Or tries to. What started as a daring walk on the wild side turns to pure terror as Eddie stalks her relentlessly, causing her to break her leg in an accident and miss a semester. Now Kara must make it up in summer school, where Eddie is waiting for things to heat up again. So, seems like a pretty classic trope. I think it should be fun. Then we have the second summer of the Sisterhood. If you know anything about me, which you probably don't because I don't think I've actually talked about these books on my channel yet, but I absolutely love the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants series, and this is the second one in that series. It's about these group of girls, and it just talks about their lives and about their friendship, and they went to this thrift shop one day and they discovered these pair of jeans that just happens to fit every girl perfectly, even though they're not the same height and they're not the same body type or the same shape, but yet these pants just magically fit all of them. And so they're going to be broken up for the summer for the first time. They've never been apart before. And so they had this pair of traveling pants, which is what they called them because they would wear them for a week and then they would send it to the next girl and she'd wear them for a week and then they'd send it to the next girl. So even though they were apart for the summer, they felt connected through this pair of pants. But anyways, it's a great series. I absolutely love it and recommend it if you haven't read it yet. Then another YA book is Summer's Edge. I don't know if this is supposed to be more of a thriller or more of a horror, but it could be like a supernatural thriller. So this is about a group of friends that return to a lake house where one of their sisters was actually burned to death when the lake house burned down a few years ago. but it sounds like they had rebuilt it, and so they were there for the summer, but it stirs up all of these old feelings and emotions, and they start kind of fighting and bickering, and then it comes to find out that maybe it wasn't an accident that started this fire, so they're trying to determine whether it was murder. But it sounds like it does say there might be some ghostly visitations too. I don't know. I like ghost stories. I like thrillers. So hopefully this will work for me. Haven't read it yet, but I look forward to it. And then we have a YA romance trilogy, starting with The Summer I Turned Pretty. And then we have It's Not Summer Without You. And then We'll Always Have Summer. And I just love these covers. I think they're really cute. I haven't read these ones yet either, but it sounds like there's going to be a love triangle in them, which sometimes I'm okay with and sometimes I hate. So we shall see. I don't really know anything about it other than that. Okay, so that's all the young adult stuff I have. The rest are going to be for adults. And I'm going to start with a literary fiction book called One Italian Summer. It's a very cute, short little book. So this is about a woman who lost her mother. She passed away, and even her husband can't get through to her in her grief because her mother was her best friend, was the first person she called, was everything to her. And so this is going to be a very grief heavy book. So I'm not sure it packs a punch, but anyway, so she goes to Italy on this trip that was supposed to be like a mother-daughter trip with her mom, but she decides to just go by herself. And while she's there, she feels her mom's spirit and she feels closer to her. But then one day she wakes up and her mom is there, but she's 30 years old, and she kind of becomes her friend and her pal, and they go on this trip together with the spirit of her mom. So anyways, I haven't read this one yet either, but I hear really good things about it. I'm just not always in the mood for literary fiction, so I just have been holding on to it until I'm in that type of a mood. Then we have That Summer, and I have not read this one yet either. I think this is supposed to be a thriller, but it looks like a romance or a literary fiction or something, but it's not. Supposedly it's a thriller, but this is about a woman who starts mistakenly receiving these emails. Her name is Daisy, and she keeps getting emails for a Diana. And so she's like, well, it's not me. But then she ends up meeting Diana so that she can tell her about these emails that she mistakenly keeps getting. And they strike up a friendship, and they become fast friends and start hanging out a lot. But it sounds like Diana turns out to be not who she thought she was and has secrets in her past that she's trying to uncover. I don't know if it's supposed to be cozy because the cover looks cozy, or if it's supposed to be more of a typical thriller. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Then we have Summer Green by Carol Cox, and I don't actually know if this is in print anymore because this is a really old book. It came out in like the 80s, I think. Well, it says copyright 1981, but then it also says 1987. So either way, in the 80s. So I don't know if this is still in print or not. But I really enjoyed this one. This is set in like pioneer American days, so it looks like it should be like a Regency Victorian romance in England, but it's not. It's set in America. And this is about Anne Caro, and she really wants to be a singer. That's like her dream, but her parents are like, you'd have to go back east or somewhere else to make a career out of being a singer, and that's just not going to happen. You should just settle down and get married and have kids and whatever. And so she kind of kicks against this until she meets the handsome Mark Stanton, who kind of puts her head in a whirl, and she thinks he's really hot and stuff. But there's this hired hand that also likes her, and she wants to be kind to him because I think he's been courting her a little bit, but she likes the smart guy, not him. And then we have Dolores, who also likes Mark, and she's kind of a spoiled, catty woman, and she's trying to divert his attention away from our main character and onto herself. So lots of things going on in this book, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. However, the second book, because there's a second book called Valley of Fire, is about Dolores, and it shows like her perspective after she doesn't get Mark and after she moves to St. George, Utah, and it's hot and it's dusty and it's, she's used to green, and in St. George, Utah, if you've ever been there, it's nothing but desert and red and brown, and so she hates being there, but she found this job, I think, at like an inn or something. And I really loved that one. Dolores is a much more interesting character than Anne is. And I just thought she was really funny. I mean, she is spoiled, but that just gives her room for character development, and I just really loved her love story. But it doesn't have summer in the title, so that's why it's not included. But this one is good though. I did like Summer Green. You could probably still buy an older copy on Amazon if you're interested in reading this book. And then we have Jane and the Year Without a Summer. And this is Jane Austen mystery. I have not read it yet. It's by Stephanie Barron. So for you that aren't super into history like I am, there was a time in Victorian history known as the Year Without a Summer, and Mount Tempora, it's a volcano, it erupted and it caused like a what they call a volcanic winter. And so that year they didn't really have a summer because there was like ash and debris and stuff in the air for like 16 months or something. So it's set during that time, and like I said, it's a Jane Austen mystery. So this is about Jane Austen herself, and she's in the middle of writing her next novel after Emma, but she decided she needs a break and she needs to go to the spa with her sister and relax and not think about writing for a while. But while she's there, there's like a group of other people that are also at this like spring water that's supposed to have curative properties or something, or maybe it's a hot spring or something. And some of them have secrets that come to life that are, some of them are deadly secrets, and she thinks that maybe if she intervenes, she can prevent a crime from happening. So, like I said, I haven't read this one yet, but I didn't realize it's like the 16th in a series or something. Oh, 14th. Yeah, it says this is the 14th installment in Stephanie Barron's critically acclaimed series. So I'm hoping I don't have to read them in order, because I don't think I want to read 13 books to get to this one, since I already own a copy. That's quite an investment. So I'm hoping they can be standalones. But just so you're aware, if you want to start at the beginning, this is not the first in the series. And then I have a couple of contemporary romances. We have Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. This is also part of a trilogy. I only own the first book. I have not. Actually, no. I did buy the second one. I forgot. But I haven't read them yet, and I know there's a third one that just came out not too long ago. So this is the trope where these two people came together as kids, and every summer they would hang out and they kind of fell in love, and for like 6 summers they were madly in love for each other, but then something happened, they got in a fight, they broke up, they never saw each other again. But then they were coming back to the same place where they used to spend their summers together as kids and adolescents, and now they're trying to see if they can make this second chance romance work out for them. So I'm not really for second chance romances necessarily. That's not my favorite romance trope, but I do hear good things about this, and I did want to check it out. And it obviously has all the summery vibes. They're jumping into this lake or whatever. So I don't know, it sounds like it could be cute. And then the last book I have to talk about is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. And I just barely got this in my Book of the Month Club box last week. So again, I have not read this. It's quite big for a romance. It's like 400 pages, which for a romance is pretty long. So hopefully it doesn't drag. I hope the pacing is good. So this is about two people who both simultaneously feel like they're cursed, because every time they break up with someone, that person goes on to find the love of their life and live happily ever after. And so they're left there being like, hey man, why can't that happen for me? Like, where's my happily ever after? Why is it that I make it possible for everybody else to find love? Where's my love? So anyways, they discover each other online, I believe. And so they decide, you know what, if this is the curse that we're both having to deal with, then let's get together and let's date for a time, and then we'll break up, and then that will cancel the curse and we'll both find the love of our lives. So they're like, what's to lose? So they give it a try, which is so funny. I mean, it sounds kind of weird and goofy, but at the same time, it's not a romance trope I've ever heard of before. So that makes it interesting and intriguing. And everybody has been raving about this book online. So I thought I'd jump on the bandwagon and give it a go. So there you have it. Those are all the books that I own with the word summer in the title. So hopefully you found something that might pique your interest this summer and something you can read on the beach or at the lake or whatever your plans are for the summer. Mine will be staying inside as close to the AC as possible because I hate summer because of how hot it is. I hate being hot. I hate being sweaty. I hate how bright it is. It gives me headaches. So you guys could go read on your beaches and I'll be inside my house pretending that it's fall. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up to let me know. If you haven't subscribed already, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified for upcoming videos. And I will catch you next time. See ya!